Well, you might have read about it in the headlines that luxury real estate prices are done, they're finished, they've been decimated, they're in the gutter, and they're never coming back. But what's the truth? What is the data actually telling us, and what does it mean for you as a buyer or seller in this market? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video today. Jake Fletcher here with the Fletcher Group at eXp Realty, your Miami real estate agent, and it is my pleasure to be bringing you guys this data directly from the MLS, the source, the backbone of the real estate industry, so that you guys can make the most informed decision for yourselves and your family that you possibly can. And in this video, we're looking at luxury condos in Miami-Dade County. That's actually luxury condos and townhouses, and that is denoted by every condominium and townhome that is over $1 million, which represents roughly the top 10% of the market, okay? So let's look at the data for this segment of the market, starting with the number of sales and the close price to original price ratio, which is the average percentage difference of list price compared to the ultimate sale price of listings in the market, okay? So as we can see by our green line there, sales actually declined considerably from June to July, from 195 to 133, a difference of 62 less sales, or 31.8%, which is honestly quite a big difference to see in just 1 month's time. To see almost 32% less sales, especially in the summer, is pretty substantial and definitely noteworthy. Now, compared to last July though, it's actually slightly less dramatic of a disparity of only 16 less sales, from 149 sales in July of 2022, okay? So that's a 10.7% reduction, okay? So not quite as bad. Now, the close price to original price ratio actually increased, meaning that the difference between what sellers are asking and what they're actually getting tightened a little bit. And it actually tightened from 92.3% in June to 92.6% in July. Last July, over here, it was actually 95.3%. That would be right there, okay? Now, let's look at supply next. And that is going to be our active number of listings in our green line there, aka supply, and then the number of new listings in our blue line. So looking at the active listings in our green line there, we see it actually declined by 29 units from 1,973 in June to 1,944 in July, for a 1.5% decrease in supply. Now, our year-over-year statistic is very similar to last July's 1,947 units, which is only 3 more units, or a 0.2% decrease. But compare that, just for fun, to July of 2019 over here, when there was 2,751 units. That's a 807 unit difference, or a 29.3% decrease in supply. Okay, now let's take a look at our blue line here for new listings, which has been fairly stable, though we did see a 3-unit decrease from 343 in June to 340 in July, which is a 0.9% decrease. Now, year over year, we had 373 new listings in July of 2022 over here, which is an 8% decrease of 30 new listings. Now, that is up significantly from July of 2019, in that 2019 time period over here, when there was 254 new listings. That's a 35% increase of 89 additional new listings of luxury condos, okay? Now, next up, let's take a look at days on market and median sale price. Exactly what I know everybody wants to hear about here. So we saw a big increase in days on market from June. That's our blue line there, from June to July, and really actually since from May to July, while we saw a bit of softening in the median sale price over the last month. Now, median sale price dropped $50,000 from 1.65 million to just 1.6 million flat, which is a 3% decrease, which coincidentally is exactly the same decrease compared to last July when the median sale price was also 1.65 million over here, okay? So definitely some stability in luxury condo median sale prices in the market. It's bouncing around a little bit, but compared to other segments of the market, it definitely appears to be more of a stable price point than a lot of other areas. So, you can see, taking a macroscopic look at the chart over the last 4 years, just how sort of stable it's been. It's sort of been popping around back and forth between this 1.6 line quite a bit, okay? Now, however, when we look at average days on market, let's take a closer look at that blue line there, and we can see that the steam is kind of slowly coming out of the market in terms of how quickly units are moving. The lower that line goes, the quicker that they are, of course, because it's less days on market. In June of this year, we had 158 days on market compared to 201 in July, okay? So June was 158, 201 in July. That's a 43-day difference, or an increase of 27.2% in just 1 month, okay? So, this was sort of like the steam was like bouncing around back and forth, slowly getting less and less steam in the market. And then over the past few months, again, since May, we've seen that it's drastically gone up, from about, I think it was 135 in May. It was. In May of 2023, the average days on market was 135. So that's a 66-day difference, or 48.9% of an increase since May, okay? So May, June, July, in just 3 months, almost a 50% increase in days on market. So the market's slowing down a lot. But things are definitely moving a lot quicker still than the pre-pandemic, July 2019 that we've mentioned a few times, which the average days on market then was 329, which represents a 38.9% reduction, or hastening of the market, if you want to say it like that. So now we've bounced around a lot back and forth, between a buyer's and seller's market in luxury condos. And we've bounced at this point now back into a buyer's market for luxury condos in Miami-Dade. And from June to July, it went up 50%, actually, from 10 months of inventory to 15 months of inventory. So that's pretty significant in just 1 month. So you can really see just how precipitous that slowdown has been for the market month over month, literally in 1 month, to go from a normal market with 10 months of inventory to a buyer's market with 15 months of inventory, okay? So just as a reminder, the months of inventory is how long it would take to sell the existing supply if no new inventory came on the market. Last July, we were also in a buyer's market, but we were at 13 months of inventory over here. So it's an even stronger buyer's market right now. So we'll see where that goes in the future. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that on this channel. So make sure that you are subscribed if you don't want to miss those videos, because honestly, nobody else brings you guys regular market updates on the Miami real estate market on YouTube or at all, especially not coming directly from the MLS itself. I've met plenty of realtors that don't even know that the statistics from the MLS exists, which is exactly what I'm showing you guys. So you guys know more than the vast majority of realtors out there. So congratulations. Now, what does it mean if you're a buyer? What does it mean if you're a seller? Okay. If you are a buyer of condominiums, luxury condominiums in this market, just realize that it's super important to work with somebody who can help you figure out what the actual market value is of that unit, okay? Because, the days on market, as we saw, have been increasing a bit, right? 50% since May, almost 50%. So things are slowing down, but the discerning buyers are the ones who are getting these properties, not the people who are trying to offer, $500,000 less than what the property is worth, okay? So you need to know what the property is worth. That's where somebody like myself comes in, who can run the comparable sales of the building and the nearby comparable units and things like that to help you determine exactly what a unit is worth, so that you know what you should be paying for a property. Now, as far as inventory goes, we can see that inventory is low, right? But it's not as low as it was, in terms of like around early 2022 range, inventory was actually lower. We saw that little bit, and you can go back to the slide if you want. We saw that little pop up in inventory, and then it's sort of been since the beginning, maybe like February, March of this year, we've seen inventory sort of declining a bit, but it is still lower than it, or still higher than it was last year, okay? We're not at pre-pandemic levels of inventory, but there are still plenty of units to pick from, right? And, you know, we also saw, just in terms of like that getting a deal factor goes, we actually saw that the closed price to original price ratio has been sort of creeping back up, right? So again, the discerning buyers, they are the ones who are getting these properties, the ones that are, you know, they may be getting a deal, but they're not necessarily trying to offer, you know, significantly less than what a property is worth. And that's evidenced by that closed price to original price ratio getting closer to parity or getting closer to 100%. Now, that's not to say that deals don't still exist. They definitely do. And there's a lot more leeway to be had in the luxury range because you're working with bigger numbers from the start, okay? So, you know, seeing less sales is definitely encouraging in terms of there's less competition for you as a buyer. So you can definitely still get a deal where there is a deal to be had, but don't expect to get the property for crazy less than what it's actually worth. That's what I'm trying to say here, okay? So what does it mean if you're a seller in the luxury condo and townhouse market? Well, you know, prices have been pretty stable, okay? Unless you bought your property in the last few years, you know, and bought it for way more than it was worth, you can probably be making a profit off of it, but it's important to have the best marketing possible. That is something that I personally excel in, and if you would like a, you know, free consultation on what that looks like, feel free to reach out to me. All my contact info is in the description down below. But your marketing is super important, as well as working with somebody who is an expert with the contracts, you know, what all the terms of the contracts are and how to best represent you as a seller. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with agents that don't even know how to properly fill out contracts. So it's really important to work with somebody who is an expert, not just in marketing like myself and figuring out market value, comparative market analysis and so forth, but also is an expert in guiding the transaction and making sure that it closes and knowing what terms are going to represent you as a seller the best and, you know, have your best interest at heart. You know, for your personalized experience though, to really give you personal advice, I'd have to speak with you personally, right? So all my contact info is in the description down below. If you would like to work with me, you know, I can guarantee you nobody can represent you better than I can in the Miami real estate market. I'm an absolute expert at this. It's what I do. It's what I live, sleep, breathe, and eat and you know, love to do on a daily basis all the time. So reach out to me. Would love to hear from you guys. Again, all my contact info is in the description down below. Jake Fletcher here with the Fletcher Group at eXp Realty, your Miami real estate agent, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.